So you guys are either gonna hate me for this or love me for making this decision. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and as you can tell, I'm not on the Aprilia anymore, so let's get into why. So basically, before I explain the bike that I'm on right now, I want to explain why I ended up getting rid of my Aprilia Supermoto. First, I need to do a wheelie. So basically, if you haven't seen from my other videos, I had an Aprilia SXV 550 Supermoto, and I absolutely loved the bike. I did a bunch of work to it, did a full stunt kit on it and everything, and I feel like the bike was a big part of the channel, even though I just started this channel. But the reason I decided to get rid of it was not just because I didn't like the bike or anything like that. It's mainly because I missed going on longer trips. So basically, all my friends have bikes like this that you can take on the highway. Even though I could take the Aprilia on the highway, it kind of sucked for longer trips, and I wanted to go on longer trips, but I didn't want to sacrifice wheeling. So that's why I decided to get a Fz-07, and I might as well show you guys some clips of it right now. So yeah, this is a 2015 Fz-07. It's got kind of high miles, but I just picked it up for $5,000, if you can't believe that with bike prices nowadays. I picked it up for $5,000. Thing runs amazing. It's got a full Two Brothers exhaust, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Two Brothers, but it'll do for now. It's got a tune that raises the rev limiter a little bit and turns the fan on quicker, takes the top speed off, and some other little things that aren't that big of a deal. But then it's just got some other cosmetic things like flush mount turn signals and kind of little things like that. But you know, we gotta pop a wheelie again. Oh man, I love this bike already. So back to the bike, I picked this up off of a guy down south for $5,000. He didn't want it anymore. He wanted to upgrade to the Fz-09, which personally, I've ridden an Fz-09 and I love the feeling of this bike way more than the Fz-09. No offense to my buddy with the Fz-09, but I just love the feel of this bike. I like the torquiness. Even though the Fz-09 is a little bit quicker, I would still prefer this. Man, I don't know what is going on with this traffic. Something happened up here. So the funny thing is, if I've only had this bike for a couple of days and I'm already convincing some of my friends to get this bike. I have a friend that's selling his Supermoto right now to buy an R1, and then I just let him ride this, and now he wants to get one of these. And my other buddy with an Fz-09 wants to downgrade to this bike because they're just beautiful bikes. They look sick, they ride sick, and they're just awesome. So I'll do a little pull for you guys really quick, just so you guys can get the gist of how fast this thing actually is, even though it's just a 700. So let's bring it down to like third and get on it. It's definitely a torque monster. I freaking love this thing. So going back to the high miles and why I'm not worried about it is just because these bikes are built to last. Like this right now has about 23,000 miles on it, and I'm not worried about it at all. People say these bikes can run perfectly up to 100,000 miles. They're built to last, they're bulletproof. So I'm really not worried at all about having 23,000 miles, because people don't even consider that to be high on these bikes yet. So as you can hear, this bike actually sounds super sick. It almost sounds like a Harley, so you don't really expect the sound to come out of this kind of bike, but I freaking love the sound. And to talk about the future plans for this bike, I'm basically going to do the same thing I did with the Aprilia. If you haven't seen my videos on the Aprilia, I'm basically going to stunt it out just like I did with the Aprilia. So the first day I bought this bike, I already bought a stunt cage in the same blue as the frame, and then I bought a sub cage and 12 bar just in black, and then I bought a one finger RSC clutch because I'm not feeling this clutch for wheelies, even though I can still pop it up with ease. So I definitely miss the Aprilia, and I think I always will, just because it was one of my dream bikes, because it was so rare, sounded sick, and it was super easy to wheelie and just super fast. But honestly, if you don't have friends that all have supermotos, it's not as fun, because all my friends have sport bikes and stuff like that, so going out on rides with them isn't as fun because I can't go as fast as them, and it's super uncomfortable to take on long trips. So I thought this would be the best option because I can take it on longer trips. It's super comfortable and smooth. It gets up and goes just as fast as the Aprilia does, and it's super easy to wheelie. A lot of people stunt these bikes. They're one of like the newer stunt bikes that people are getting into. So kind of like, if you don't know, like the 636 was like the biggest bike in the stunt world because it was just bulletproof and it was perfect for doing wheelies. And now everyone's kind of transitioning into the Fz-07s because they're torquey but not too torquey, and they just have a perfect balance point where you can just chill there and you don't really have to modulate the foot brake too much because these things have a lot of engine brake, which I'm kind of glad that I got used to doing wheelies on the Supermoto because those had a lot of engine brake just like this does. So the transition into wheelies on this wasn't that big of a transition. I mean, basically I was up at balance point, you know, dropping it back the first day I had this bike, which I did not think was going to happen. So another thing I thought was pretty cool that the previous owner did is he installed this kind of dash cam right here. I still have to set it up, but that's pretty cool, so I won't have to constantly record GoPro just in case, you know, someone pulls out in front of me or something like that, so I can be worryless and have that recording, but I got to figure out how to set it up first. So if you came to this video wanting to get an Fz-07 or just kind of doing some research on them, thinking about getting one, or you just think they're cool, honestly, my personal opinion, this is the best bike I've ever ridden. It's torquey as hell, it's fast, it's kind of gutless on the highways, but not like crazy gutless. Hi. But, I mean, this bike just feels so smooth. It's perfect for stunting and wheeling, and honestly I am so glad I got this bike, and I plan on keeping it for a long time because I can run the miles up on this thing and it will be just fine. So to talk about a little dumb story that happened to me yesterday and why I've decided to not try to learn any crazy stunt tricks yet is because I was trying to learn coasters yesterday, and if you don't know what coasters are, it's where you're mid-wheelie and you pull in the clutch to basically coast at balance point and you just modulate yourself with your foot brake. And I decided I wanted to go really far back, and I didn't really think about the foot brake too much, so I went way too far back. I don't know how I did not scrape the tail of this thing. So at that point I decided, you know, I'm gonna wait until all my stunt parts come in, so if I do end up dumping this bike, it'll be fine and it won't be freaking totaled. God, I love the way this bike sounds. So eventually I plan on doing a rear handbrake setup like I did on the Aprilia. So I'll have a handbrake right here that goes to the back so I can do stand-up wheelies like I used to on the Aprilia, because I mean I did buy a sub cage to do stand-up wheelies, so might as well do the full package. So like I said, this thing's insanely easy to wheelie, so I guess I should throw some wheelies, even though this isn't really the best spot to do it, but you know, screw it. So I mean, it's pretty easy to just chill at balance point. I'm not trying to do anything crazy yet. I'm just chilling doing drop back wheelies, which is fun as hell. I like how this thing says eco right here, so you know when you're being the most economic. Sorry for the voice crack right there. So I'll probably add in some other clips of me wheeling that my friends took me just on their iPhone. So sorry that they're vertical and not horizontal, but I think they're pretty sick of me starting to learn, hey, that's my friend's mom. Good thing I wasn't doing a wheelie past her. Hey, Harley boy, I sound like you, hey. So yes, take it from me. If you are contemplating getting an Fz-07, do it. I highly recommend these bikes. Even though I've only had it a couple days. I freaking love this thing. So I haven't really tried popping it up in fourth that much, but you know, let's try to pop it up in fourth. Oh, right up. I wonder if I could do fifth. Oh, we just chilling, son. Yeah. That was a pretty cool C8. So I've still been trying to learn like combo tricks like knee knocker to sit down mid wheelie. So I'm gonna try that again. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that was bad. Let's try it again. That was really bad. I need to work on doing that. I did it really good yesterday, so I think I just need to get warmed up to it because I'm still a little nervous to do it. Plus, knee knockers feel kind of weird on this bike because this back seat is more elevated than the seat I sit on, so that's why the Fz-09s are kind of easier to do knee knockers on, but you know your boy will learn it. Alright, so I just got to my parents' house because I need to pick up the title for this bike and some other things because I drove this bike home and they took all the other crap with them. But I'm really glad I decided to wash this bike before coming over to my parents, knowing that they have a dirt driveway. So basically my whole wash job went down the toilet. I don't know why I decided to do that, but you know, that's my life. But I guess I'll add some clips in of me wheeling from the other day that my friends took, and then I'll add in that little edit that I made again because I think that thing's pretty sick. But for now, I'm going to end the video here, guys, and I'll catch you again in the next one. See ya!